Hi everyone, and welcome to Monster Reads. I'm Wilky, and here is where I'm going to be talking about all my favorite books. Books I've loved, books I've read and not loved so much, and everything in between. So, let's jump in. Today, we're talking about a book that's been literally everywhere. It's Butter by Asako Yuzuki and translated by Barton. If you haven't seen this book, I don't know where you've been. It's on bookshop tables, it's on TikTok, it's on everywhere. YouTube, everywhere. It's this big yellow slab of a book with this awesome cover, red foil, blood streaks on it, and amazing type, and I think a lot of people have bought it because of that. I have to admit, I did. I judged a book by its cover, but then I read it and judged it by the book. And this is what I thought. This is a book about a woman who works as a journalist in Tokyo. Her name is Rika Machida, and she decides she wants to be the first person to interview a notorious accused serial killer, Manako Kajii, who's currently in prison waiting for a retrial, I think, or a retrial or an appeal, something like that. And Kajii is, she's accused of murdering 3 of her lovers, who she had very sort of intense relationships with. They were very obsessed with her. But she's quite an enigmatic character, and she won't talk to anyone. And Rika goes to meet her and finally gets to have her meeting with her by asking her for a recipe, because Kajii is absolute food obsessed. She goes religiously to this cooking course every week. She cooked for all of her victims / lovers, and she's just known as this gastronome. So that's Rika's in, is to ask her about food. And what happens is they meet and they start talking about food, and Kajii really opens Rika's mind to ideas of flavor and food and finding joy in food and cooking for yourself and cooking for others. And Rika's life starts to change, her body starts to change as she experiments with the recipes that Kajii has told her about. Other characters in Rika's life are sort of caught up in the narrative and caught up in this relationship between the 2 women that's kind of toxic, and kind of there's a lot of manipulation and on both sides, and it's a fascinating novel. It really is. Now, I think some people looked at the cover and the blood streaks and maybe the blurb and sort of expected more of a crime story, a bit of a whodunit kind of thing. And to be honest, I did too. And actually what this is a sort of a depiction of an encounter between these 2 women and a relationship, but also a meditation on all sorts of social questions, like our relationship with food, relationships between men and women, and kind of how food and cooking and other domestic duties kind of fit into that. The pressure on women's bodies is a big theme. As Rika starts eating, everyone starts commenting on how she's put on weight, and she becomes sort of fixated on the idea. So it's a book with a lot of talking, a lot of thinking, but it's very compelling for something that has some story, but not loads, and not as much as the sort of crimey cover would imply. It's really compelling. It's a very engrossing read, and it doesn't feel like 400 pages. It really doesn't. The characters are very well drawn, very subtle, very surprising. Some of the choices they make and some of the paths they go down are not what you expect when you start reading the novel. There's nothing kind of cliche or humdrum or predictable or rote about any of this. The character of Kajii is this sort of enigma at the heart of the novel. She really kind of keeps your interest. She's kind of part Hannibal Lecter and part Barefoot Contessa, but also way more complicated than that makes it sound. And to be honest, I got to the end and I'm still not sure what I think. But But yeah, it's a complex novel. I would really recommend it. I'd love to know what you think. I know that other people haven't maybe enjoyed it as much. If you're one of them, pop it in the comments down below. Or if you love it too, tell me about it. I mean, I don't even know whether to say I love it, to be honest. I liked it, and I was compelled by it and really intrigued by it and provoked. And I want other people to read it. But do I love it? I don't know. That's hard to say. But let me know what you think. Like and subscribe, all the usual stuff that people say at the end of these things. And I'll see you next time. Thanks for joining. Bye!